So on the first day of summer, I've got a great collection of niche freshies for you. This is the perfect collection. You're going to enjoy wanting to wear these ones this summer. Find out what they are coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Sebastian. Do you have a rule about wearing freshies in the summertime, or do you pull whatever you want? I know a lot of you do enjoy to kind of separate your stronger fragrances, warmer fragrances for the winter, and of course the freshies in the summertime. And if you have that rule, you can wear these ones. I don't have a rule like that, but you know, I do tend to pull for a lot more freshies during the warmer months, and especially if I'm traveling away from where I live, where it's not necessarily ever too hot, I pull for a lot of these kind of fragrances. Recently, I was in Central California, where it reached around 100 every day. Dry, but hot. These are the kind of fragrances I was wearing and then smelling really, really great. So let's go ahead and get started with the list. This is the first fragrance from the house that I'm talking about. Not the first fragrance from the house. The first fragrance I'm talking about is from a house called MAISON Francis KURKDJIAN. It's Gentle Fluidity Silver. So this is part of a duo of fragrances. We've got silver and gold. They are meant to somehow be layered together, but the cleaner, fresher, crisper, more metallic, sharper fragrance is the silver. The warmer is the gold. You can layer them together even in the summertime, but just be warned, you are going to get more warmer notes. But this silver has that very, very intense, crisp metallic start because it has juniper berries, but it has a super sexy trail once the fragrance has settled down on you and, you know, blended with your own chemistry, and the projection off of you is smelling fantastic. This definitely was not a love at first sniff. For some strange reason, I have several not at love at first sniff fragrances from the house of MFK, but it has sure grown on me, and I'm kind of addicted to the way the fragrance smells. It's juniper berries, woods, musk, coriander, nutmeg, amber woods, and vanilla, and it's an amazing fragrance to wear all summer long. Fresh, clean, crisp, sharp, metallic. It's the juniper berries, that's the overdose of those in this fragrance that creates for that kind of metallic sharpness. But it's perfect in the heat. If you don't know that one, do check it out. It's MFK Gentle Fluidity Silver. Moving on to the house of SOSPIRO, it's Vibrato, this one right here. This does have similarities to Tigar, and this is a niche list. And so I'm featuring this instead of Bulgari's Tigar. But there are differences here between this and Bulgari's Tigar. One thing I do get from this one is a slight tobacco-ish woodiness that's not in the Tigar. It's also a lot more potent than Tigar in a really, really long-lasting experience. And even though the Tigar doesn't have ginger, it's about the grapefruit, this one does have loads of ginger, and it really works beautifully with the grapefruit note. So it's ginger, grapefruit, bergamot, herbs, powdery notes, musk, cedarwood, jasmine, magnolia, patchouli, amber, orris. So it's powdery for sure. It dries down to kind of an earthy, woody fragrance, but up top it's zingy, it's spicy, it's fresh, it's citrusy, and fantastic for the summertime. So it's SOSPIRO's Vibrato. That's the second fragrance I'm talking about today. This is an unranked list, by the way. And the next fragrance is from XERJOFF. It's Torino 21. An amazing fragrance from this house. I used to feature Neo quite a bit long time ago, but this is definitely surpassed Neo now. What I like about this one, it's invigorating. It's tart, it's juicy, it's tea, so it has cozy vibes. So it's really relaxing, soothing, and in the summertime, the heat exhausts you, and this has this kind of feel when you wear it. A very relaxing, soothing effect takes over your body, and you can actually subconsciously feel that and also be refreshed with all the invigorating notes. So again, lemon and also the mint in here, giving you that kind of lemon mint tea vibe. It's super, super fantastic. But in addition to the lemon and mint, there's verbena here, musk, basil, and blackcurrant. So Torino 21 from the house of XERJOFF is amazing. But this next one, it's a citrus floral bomb from the house of Commodity. It's Nectar. This is probably my favorite commodity fragrance now. I wish they moved this into the Scent Space collection. They haven't. But it's such a juicy fragrance. It's juicy pomelo with overdose of citrus floral notes, and it's just a really beautiful combination. Pomelo is kind of like grapefruit. It's very juicy. It's got a zing and a zestiness. It's got a kick. It's spicy, especially if you've eaten the skin. I do like to eat the skin once in a while in little amounts because I like the flavor, and flavor and scent kind of go hand in hand. But this is lots of citruses. It's a great smelling fragrance for the summertime, especially when it's hot outside, with juicy pomelo, neroli, orange blossom, honeysuckle, which is also really cool in this, Italian tangerine, musk, bergamot, vetiver, and cedar wood. What an amazing fragrance this is. If you haven't tried Commodities Nectar, please do, especially if you like the overdose of citruses, because it's a citrus bomb. And speaking of citruses, I've got two fragrances back to back from the house of Thomas KOSMALA. For some reason, you guys were requesting me to do a video on this house, and I don't really have, well, no, I do have quite a bit of fragrances, but I was trying to acquire some more fragrances. But these two, one of these I've actually spoken quite a bit about, but the first one I'm talking about is TONIC VERT. It's this one right here. So it's TONIC BLANC and TONIC VERT. Both of the fragrances are fresh, but they do have kind of a backbone of the Après l'Amour number 4. Most of you are probably familiar with that one. It has that kind of an effect in here in the base. It's kind of dry and powdery, but it's overdosed with citruses. For the TONIC VERT, it's mint, lime, vetiver, bergamot, pomelo, lemons, mandarin, orange with oak moss, musk, and geranium. So it has that kind of ambroxan kick in the base. Ambery, woody, dry, powdery, a bit marine, but it's overdosed with a lot of citruses and some kind of aromatic notes. So that's the TONIC VERT. And then kind of a similar idea, but more going into the citrusy direction with neroli and orange blossom and things like that. And this is TONIC BLANC. So it's basically the similar idea, taking Après l'Amour number 4, which is this overdose of kind of ambroxany, woody, dry, ambery notes, and intensifying it, or freshening it up, I should say, with the citrus overdose. It's neroli, orange, bergamot blossom, orange flower, bergamot, mock orange, musk, cedar, and sandalwood. Really wonderful offering. If you don't know these two fragrances, check them out. You can find these at the discounters, and I think it's definitely worth finding them, especially if you like citruses and you like that whole kind of ambroxan overdose in fragrances. But moving on to the fragrance house of Parfumum ROMA, it's ORANGEA, this one right here. ORANGEA is such a juicy fragrance, but in the back there's also some creaminess, almost giving you like a coconutty creamy effect, and it comes alive in the humid heat, and it smells super fantastic. I was either going to feature Aqua Viva from them, which is a lemon balm, but I went with this one, which is more of a orange, bitter orange leaves with an orangey effect. It smells so great, and again, it comes alive in the heat. It's perfect in the heat and humidity, and these are kind of linear fragrances and also a bit on the oily side, so you can rub these on and you're not going to screw up the top notes, because they're not necessarily broken down into a top, heart, and base notes. They're just very linear, so you basically experience the fragrance similar from the start to the base. But this is definitely one of the best. It's Petitgrain balm with bergamot, cedar, and mint. ORANGEA from the house of Parfumum ROMA. Check that out. This next one's from the house of ACQUA di Parma. It's Fico di Amalfi, this one right here. Again, this is a niche freshie list, and this is definitely one of the best. It's a fig fragrance, but it's fruity but citrusy as well, and definitely one of the best fruity, happy, uplifting, and fresh citrusy fruity fragrances from the house of ACQUA di Parma in the Blue Mediterraneo collection, as you can see here. It's eau de toilette, and you can liberally spray this stuff on and smell fantastic with it. And if you like fig fruitiness, definitely check this one out. It's fig, fig tree, grapefruit, bergamot, yuzu, lemons, cedar, jasmine, pink pepper. It smells fantastic. Let me know if you're a fan of this one. I can tell the community really loves it, and hopefully you are a fan of it as well. If you haven't checked it out, you can find those at the discounters. But this next fragrance I hear is pretty hyped currently. Parfums de Marly's Greenly. It has definitely become my favorite freshie from Parfums de Marly. Absolutely love it. And I love the juicy greenness of the apple note in here. It just, when you wear this fragrance, you can experience the juiciness, the crispness, and also the drippiness of the apple when you're, spritzing yourself on with this one. It's green apples, cashmeran, oak moss, musk, petitgrain, and bergamot. Petitgrain comes in to give it a bit of green, bitter, citrusy touch here as well against the juiciness of the apples. It's a really, really great freshie. I absolutely love it. It's Greenly from the house of Parfums de Marly. Yeah, and I hear people are saying that it's sold out pretty much everywhere. And hopefully you can find a bottle, because I really, really love that. And I think in the summertime it's going to be perfect. Up next, going to the house of Lumari. It's Porthole, this one right here. This has definitely become a favorite fragrance of mine from this house. In fact, it's my favorite fragrance from this house. Absolutely love it. And I think you guys really love it as well. I featured this last summer in a Scent Club kit. We sold out of that kit really quickly, and a lot of you really fell in love with this fragrance, and the brand ran out of bottles. Up until early March, there were no bottles from the end of the year up until then. Then they announced to me that they were, finally had some bottles available, and we, sent out a newsletter, and a lot of you said thank you, because you've been wanting a bottle of it. If you like the idea of a fruity, salty fragrance, this is definitely one for you to try. It's called Porthole. It sounds like it's going to go marine. It doesn't, thankfully. It's just the saltiness against the fruitiness. The pineapple, bergamot, passion fruit, ginger, white flowers, caramel, white musk, and woods, along with that salt note. The salt note is really, really great here. If you're a fan of salty notes, definitely check out one of my salty fragrances videos. This is definitely featured on there. And to me, it's great. It cuts down the sweetness of the fruits to give you this kind of a salty, kind of sea breezy effect against the fruits, but without the fishiness from the marine smells. It's such a great fragrance. Porthole from the house of Lumari. Check it out if you don't know it. And the next fragrance going to the house of Goldfield and Banks. It's Bohemian Lime, this one right here. This is a great smelling. To me, it's Bohemian Lime. It's talking about lime, but it's referring to the Australian finger lime. When I wear this fragrance, it smells like I am wearing a Moscow Mule, the cocktail, because it's got kind of a gingery effect happening here with the citruses. It gives me that effect, but it's Australian finger lime, coriander, Haitian vetiver, cedarwood, sandalwood. So it's fresh, it's woody, it's spicy, and very citrusy, and it's a very unique note. Australian finger lime. Who knows this note? It looks like weird caviar things coming out of this weird bean like pod like fruit. I've never had it, but in here it smells super fantastic, and I love the fact that for me it smells like I am drizzling myself on with the cocktail Moscow Mule. I don't know where I get that from, but it smells fantastic, and that's why I featured it here. One of the best freshies out there for you guys to try. It's Bohemian Lime from the house of Goldfield and Banks. Next, we've got a very fruity, fresh fragrance from the house of Maître Parfumeur Gantier. It's Fresh Passiflora, this one right here. Now, this has become a favorite fragrance of mine. I think peach is in vogue. A lot of peachy fragrances are coming out, and this is definitely one of the best out there, especially if you like that kind of fuzzy, juicy, tart, and, very fruity take on peaches. It's peach, passion fruit, sandalwood, musk, jasmine, chili pepper, raspberry, marigolds. If you really love the authentic smell of peaches, you've got to get your nose on this because it's one of the best. And I think it's a really, really great freshie. So it's going to be perfect in the summertime. And even though Maître Parfumeur Gantier is known for their amber fragrances, this is such a standout fruity fragrance. It's not uber sweet. It's sweet tart for me. And I like that about it because I do enjoy tart fragrances in the summertime. And I feel like the tartness cuts through the heat. And again, fruity, peachy. Definitely not the bitter peach from Tom Ford. It's just very, very fresh, but uber fruity with the peach and the passion fruit. So this is Fresh Passiflora from the house of Maître Parfumeur Gantier. Let me know if you're familiar with that fragrance. And next, we're going to the house of État Libre d'Orange with You or Someone Like You. This one right here. I feel like this is a very popular fragrance for État Libre d'Orange. There's a reason why, because it smells super, super amazing. What I like about this one, I grew up with mint. Mint is consumed in my family. Fresh mint though, and sometimes mint can come off very fake and artificial in a lot of fragrances. But for me, a lot of dry mint was consumed in our family, in my culture. So the mint in here smells so, so authentic, so amazing, and I think it's one of the best mint fragrances out there. But it's overdosed with fresh notes, green notes, and some rosy touches. But it's super, super fantastic. If you like a freshie with mint, you got to try this one. Again, the mint is authentic. It doesn't smell like candy. It doesn't smell like toothpaste or mouthwash. Realistic mint. If you've ever cooked with it, you're going to experience it here in here. But an amazing, amazing fragrance. And it's a perfect freshie and not overwhelming. So you can overspray this stuff liberally and feel so good wearing it because it smells really, really wonderful, and it's a perfect fragrance for summertime. So it's You or Someone Like You from the house of État Libre d'Orange. And then last but not least, I'm going to go back to Le Labo with Bergamot 22. Yes, it's gotten reformulated, but man, the smell of this thing is just one of the best citrus fragrances out there. What I like about this one, it's the star note is bergamot, but bergamot when you actually smell the actual fruit, it does smell a bit floral. So you do get a floral touch from bergamot. It's not as astringent and sharp as lemons can be. It's not as sweet as oranges can be. And it's not as bitter, zingy, spicy like the grapefruit can be. But bergamot is just a nice balanced citrus. That's why it's used a lot in fragrances. You see it all the time. But here it's the star, and it's contrasted with other citruses, but more as a supporting note for the star note of bergamot. So there's orange blossom here, there's vetiver, there's grapefruit, petitgrain, musk, and cedar. And again, it's one of the best freshies out there. Pull this out when it's extremely hot and humid outside. You will really feel comforted and invigorated. Very uplifting as well. So it's Le Labo's Bergamot 22. If you haven't tried it, that is a wonderful, one of the best niche freshies out there. And that's the list for you guys. I hope you like these fragrances and you get to try them and check them out. Again, most of these you're probably familiar with. Some of these probably not. Do check them out. And again, Fresh Passiflora, very unique, but a really fresh take on peaches. It's a sweet tart, which I quite like, and it's a very authentic peach fragrance. Let me know which fragrances you're going to be wearing this summertime for as fresh fragrances go, and let me know if you're going to be wearing any of these fragrances. If you're unfamiliar with any of these, let me know. Put a comment down below. Other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. And I do have a few bonus options for you guys today. Most of the fragrances I spoke to you about are over $100, but the two fragrances here in the bonus section are around $100, and I think they're great if you are, you have a less budget than spending it on the other fragrances. The first one I'm going to talk to you about is Berdu Selva do Brazil, my favorite fragrance from this house, and it's a great take on green Petitgrain, the leaves of the orange tree. So you do experience a citrusy touch here, and you also experience a bitter greenness, but it's an overdose of the citrusiness here. I love the way the leaves of the orange tree smell. If you've ever picked them off the tree, just break them into half. You'll see the oils kind of release, and that smell is very fragrant. For me, it's perfectly done here, along with tonka beans and gaiac wood, which is basically what it's drying down to. It's a great freshie, not as loud as some of the other fragrances, but it'll do. And I think this brand's around $90 for 100 ml. So that's Selva do Brazil from Berdu, Maison Berdu. And the next and last fragrance is from the house of Essential Parfums, Nice Bergamot, or is it Nice Bergamot? I've asked this question to the brand founder, but she says it's both. So it's Nice Bergamot and Nice. Nice is southern France city. So this is a great juicy bergamot fragrance. Again, we have Bergamot 22 from Le Labo, more luxury, more expensive. Here, this is a more simplistic and a different take on bergamot as well. They smell nothing alike, but you are still focusing on that same note of bergamot. It's bergamot, roses, jasmine, ylang ylang, cedarwood, tonka. So it does settle to some woods and things like that, but up top it's a really beautiful take on bergamot and juicy, citrusy, a bit floral, and very invigorating and uplifting. So that's Nice Bergamot, and this is created by Antoine Maisondieu. And I recently spoke about Essential Parfums. She does fragrances and highlights the perfumers for each fragrance. So this one's Antoine Maisondieu, who is a perfumer over at Givaudan, and she's got a new fragrance launching. It's called Neroli Botanica. Love it. If you caught my video on new fragrances launching from a few days ago, go check it out. I have a lab sample that I'm doing first impressions on camera. I think it's going to be a hit, especially if you're into Neroli. But for the meantime, before that launches, we can go with Nice Bergamot here from Essential Parfums. Thanks so much for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.